And we are live. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Level Up Live. I am Dr. Sharita Gaskins-Tillett. I am your host. I'm going to allow a few more minutes for folks to come in before I introduce our wonderful guest for this evening. I am so excited to introduce her to you and to share her with you. But, like I said, give a couple minutes for folks to come on in. Welcome. If you are watching us live, say hello in the comments. Certainly, if you have questions for Dr. Di as we get through the interview, put those in the chat and I will ask them. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight Dr. Dianah Lake. Dr. Lake is an emergency medicine physician, fitness and weight loss coach, menopause wellness expert, best-selling author, speaker, autism parent advocate, and founder of Dr. Di Fitness. Using her clinical experience as an emergency medicine physician and her knowledge and passion as a fitness and weight loss coach, Dr. Di promotes a holistic approach to disease prevention, healthy living, fitness, weight loss, menopause relief, self-care, longevity, and overall wellness. Dr. Dianah helps highly successful women get fit, fierce, and fabulous without crazy fad diets or spending endless hours in the gym. Welcome, Dr. Di.
Hi, thank you so much, Dr. Sharita, for having me. Hi, everybody.
Yes, it's so good to have you here. And then one thing I want to say before we even get started is Dr. Di is one of our speaker presenters for the A Weekend for Me retreat that we're doing in March. So pay close attention because this is some of what you will be getting. So, Dr. Di, tell us a little bit about you. I mean, I read your bio, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a mom to two boys. So that's my primary home duty job. And as you said before, I'm a fitness and weight loss coach. So I help women, highly successful women like us, physicians, business owners, business professionals, go from feeling drained, exhausted, overwhelmed, right, overweight, to getting fit, happy with their bodies, and really, creating a lifestyle that fits, their busy schedule. That's really the thing I'm doing with coaching right now. And then, of course, I'm an emergency medicine physician. And so I'm in the ER, helping people that are injured and, ill to be able to either get in the hospital and get admitted, or we fix them, send them home. There's always, immediate gratification from that.
Sure.
And that's most of what I do for work.
So, and my hat's off to you as an emergency medicine physician, because I know these last, 2.5 years have been very challenging for
Absolutely.
you. So yes, God bless you for what you do and what you continue to do. So now I know some things about you from the background that weren't in the bio. So I know that you used to work, be an ER physician in the traditional sense. And now you do ER a little differently. Tell us about that.
Yes, a little differently and happier. Let's add that in.
Yes, happier. We're all about
happier, and working less, making more is just, it's a really good thing. So yes, traditionally, meaning I came out of, residency, went straight into working for a hospital, right? So most of us, that's how we're trained. To come out of school, we do our specialty training, and then we go work for, a hospital, a clinic, something like that. That's the traditional way most doctors do it. And I did that for, I think, 8.5 years. And then I wanted to start my coaching business, right? I wanted to start my coaching business back in 2016. And the company I was working for said that doing weight loss and wellness coaching and the things I wanted to do was going to be a conflict of interest with working as a physician, which is two different things, but right, they said it was in the realm of wellness. And so it was going to be a non-compete breach in my contract. And that was sort of the impetus for me to go independent, because I was like, well, I'm doing this. This is happening. I'm doing this. So
with or without your blessing.
Right. I said, I'm doing this. I know this is a calling for me. I'm super passionate about supporting women to really be comfortable with their bodies, right? And to really be able to make their own self-care a top priority outside of working for the job, and all the things where we make a priority, but then we're on the back burner. And I knew
Mm.
that was something I really wanted to work in that space. And so I left and started doing independent work as an independent contractor, emergency physician. And what changed for me, I was scared, Sharita.
Oh, I can imagine
Oh
because
my gosh.
that paycheck is security, right?
I was scared because I had never done the independent contracting before. I had always had, like you said, a steady paycheck, a steady job where I went in there, every month. I had my schedule. I knew what I was doing. And then now it was like, look, I have to go out and source work on my own. And it was scary, but I went into it with the idea that who would benefit, right? That was the question I asked myself. Who would benefit from me taking this leap? And it wasn't just a leap, it was calculated, right? I thought about when I would leave. I thought about, and I'm mentioning this for anyone who's considering doing independent contracting, you don't just get up and leave, right?
Right. You make a
You have
plan.
to plan it, right? Just like we've done everything else in our lives. We plan for med school, plan for residency, plan for, a lot of other big things. So if you're going to make that jump, make sure you have at least two companies that, or, agencies that you're going to be working with to get you positions in different places. Have that locked in, have your start date. You know what I mean? Have all of that in
I
place.
just want to interrupt a second. So when you talk about independent contracting, you mean locums, right? Just
Yes.
in case somebody's a little confused about what exactly you're meaning.
Yes.
Locums
I'm
companies.
Yes, locums companies. Yeah, locums tenants. So I'm basically showing up at the emergency department and I'm filling in gaps in their schedule, right? So ERs typically work on a schedule, shift work. So
Sure.
if they have, let's just say they have 15 full-time docs there to cover the ER, but they have holes in their schedule that, there are places that they still need to be filled. That's where I come in. So
Okay.
I go in and I do those assignments, but I know months in advance. Like currently, I have my schedule for the next 6 months. So
Okay.
I can plan my life now. I know
Yes.
when I'm working, I know when I'm not. And that was a big issue when I was, working as an employee. It was like,
Right.
oh, Dr. Lake, you were off last Christmas, so you must work this Christmas.
Right.
Well, you were off last New Year, so you must work. It was like all these things.
Right. And
And
I would
so,
imagine with this schedule now, you also get to say, I'm unavailable these
oh,
particular
yes.
days.
Absolutely. With this
Yeah,
schedule, I give them my availability and that's it. There's
sure.
no discussion back and forth about whether I can cover something else. If you want me to cover something else beyond what I've given you, then we have to have a new negotiation for that.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it has to be worth your while to
Yes.
make an adjustment to your schedule and your life.
Exactly. So, like for one of the places I work now, they're looking for somebody to cover, I think, New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. And they send an email out saying they would pay extra
Sure.
because now they need that covered, that shift covered. So it really puts you in a position of power. It puts you in a position of control of your life and your schedule and really how much revenue you want to bring in because you can work as much or as little as you want as well.
Right. So now, okay, I want to back up a little bit. You touch on a very good point here when you talk about power. Now, you told us that in 2016 you approached your company and informed them that you wanted to start this coaching business. But tell me, what was your inspiration for the coaching business? Number one, and number two, what kind of mindset shifts did you have to make to go from I'm an employee, I get a regular check every 2 weeks to I'm gonna go out here and own my life. Tell me how that happened.
I like it all my life. Yes. Yes, that's a great question. So the thing that really, shifted for me was I was in a place where, I had just gone through a divorce and I was having this personal sort of rediscovery
Yeah.
of
Okay.
myself. And I was going through a lot of emotional intelligence work, doing a lot of the inner work stuff, and
So
doing
on your
therapy.
own or with a coach?
The emotional intelligence work was with a couple of different companies, and there were
Okay.
coaches in there.
Okay.
So I got exposed to coaching in that area,
Okay.
and then I was also doing therapy with my therapist as I was transitioning out of being married. So it was a lot of transformation going on for me. And then, of course, I did a bodybuilding competition, right? And I got fit and fabulous.
So wait a minute. Wait, I got to stop there too. So bodybuilding. So so were you an exercise person before this point,
No,
or okay?
no,
So yeah.
no, I
So
was
again, how do
not.
you get off the couch and start bodybuilding?
So okay, I'll tell you the trigger, the transition point for me. So during the divorce, I got to a point where emotionally I was just drained. And anyone
Okay.
who's been through a divorce knows it's a very draining and emotionally exhausting process. Even the ones that go amicably, even the ones that go smoothly, just
Sure.
knowing that a part of your life is ending,
Yeah.
it's really emotionally draining. And so one of my friends came over to visit, and she saw that I just was really not my normal perky self, and I was really not in a good place. And she said, "Okay, let's go for a run." Mind you, I had never run a day. This is 2012. I remember it so vividly. Never run a day. I was like, "Girl, I do not run." She's like,
Unless
"Okay."
something is chasing me, right?
Right. And she was like, let's just go. It'll be you just to kind of change the scenery. You'll feel good afterward. And we went for that run, 2012 June. And I'm telling you, I got home, Sharita, and it was so exhilarating for me. That
Mm,
was when my personal fitness journey kind of took off.
okay.
I was really doing a little bit of workouts and a little bit of stuff, before then, because I had lost my dad to diabetes a couple of years before. So I
Mm,
was kind of going toward the fitness thing and being healthier. But
sure.
then when the divorce hit, all of it was like back to back to back. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do something drastic to really get myself in the best shape that I can be in. And I started really working out more. And I met a coach, and she was my coach to just get me healthy and fit. But she was also a bodybuilding coach who
I
did
see.
bodybuilding competitions. So I knew nothing about it. And I just landed in her, gym
Yes.
just for regular, coaching for weight management. And I found out it was a bodybuilding community in that particular gym in Columbia. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, okay, I can do
Bodybuilding, you
this.
say, right?
And so I just got interested because I would see these ladies walking around and they looked amazing. I was like, I want to do that. And
Okay.
so I did that. And then that just really put me in this mindset of, okay, I want to do something with fitness teaching. So then I became a group fitness and workout coach. So I was just doing workouts, teaching workouts. And then
Okay.
kind of built from there. And then I was like, okay, instead of just doing workouts and doing little 14-day challenges, 21-day challenges, I want this to be a business.
Okay.
And it sort of evolved as I met more people in that arena. I just got more and more interested in it. And people kept asking me, how are you doing this? You look amazing. You got 2 kids, you're doing this. And how do you look
Right.
like this?
Right.
Right.
And an emergency medicine physician, by the way.
Right.
It's not like you had a full-time life
Yes.
to devote to bodybuilding.
Yes. So that was it. People are asking me questions about what am I doing? How am I doing it? And as I'm going through my own personal transformation, I'm taking mental notes like, okay, I know I want to do this as a business. So let me put some things together so I can be able to train other people to do it who are like me, who are professional women who are looking to create a fit lifestyle. And
Okay.
so as my life evolved, I was making the business in my head as I was going along. And then you know, I basically, once I decided I was going to actually make it into a coaching program, I started a coaching program in 2017.
Okay. So as far as the mindset work, then that empowerment mindset, because really that's what that is. Something in you became empowered to say, I can go out on my own. I can strike out. I have what it takes to make this successful and to build this life that works for me instead of me working for my life. And so
Yes.
those mindset shifts, would you say they came mostly from the work with the coaches, with the therapist, or
I
was it
think
something else independent on your own?
I really think that a lot of the mindset shifts for me happened with emotional intelligence training. Because when you go into emotional intelligence training, you're owning your own stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not blaming the world for what happened to you,
Right.
right? You're owning it. Like, I'm responsible for everything that shows up in my life. If I'm in this job and I'm unhappy in this job, then if I continue to stay, I'm responsible
That's
for that.
on me. Right.
Yes, that's on me. You're owning it, right? That's ownership. So I think what happened for me was when I started to own my stuff, all of it, right? All of it. Like, okay, Diana, get it together,
Yeah.
And I saw that, you know, there are people out here that are doing even more than I was doing
Yeah.
and still winning independent of being tied to an institution or a company. Or when I saw that other people were doing it, I hit up Dr. Stephanie Freeman, right?
Okay.
Because I knew she was locums and I
Yes.
was thinking of doing locums. I hit her up and I said, hey,
Yeah.
how does this thing work? And that's
Right.
the
Right.
other thing, I am not afraid to raise my hand and ask for help, right?
Okay.
Now that's something that, if you're that kind of person who, you know, you're thinking of doing something, it seems difficult, it seems challenging, but you're not going to ask for help, then you're going to be stuck.
Right.
So because my mindset was, look, I'm going to get the village behind me on this,
Okay. Okay.
right? I'm going to get all the help and I'm not going to be ashamed to say I need help. I'm going to raise my hand. I'm going to talk to people who I see doing this well, right? And I'm
Yes.
not just going to anyone. I'm going to the source. I'm going to the people who are in the trenches, who are doing it and getting support from them because they've walked the walk.
Okay.
So that was what worked for me, was just saying, I'm not going to do this on my own and pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm going to go get help. And I'm going to do it in a way that allows me to show up powerfully and give me the support I need, and then learn what I need to learn so I can be able to pay it forward.
Okay. And so I know very well that you are indeed paying it forward. So tell us about your programs. What kinds of things do you offer? Because I know you have a passion for helping professional women get fit and fabulous and fierce and all of those things. So how do you go about that?
Okay. So there are several things. Actually, this time of year is great because we've got a free 5-day fitness experience coming up. It's going to be from January 9th to the 13th. And it's 5 days, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes of time each day that I'm going to spend with the people who register for it. And it's really to get them to get all of the basic framework they need to start this new year coming up and have a plan. So
Okay.
most times what I'm doing, I have a free fitness accountability group. It's called Fit Boss Culture Club with Dr. Di. I have about 3,000 members in there, and I support them with free trainings. I basically keep them aware of self-care priorities, moving every week, getting your sleep in, getting your hydration. So that's how I typically support people, is running the community, the free group. And then I have a coaching program for the people who are paying for coaching services.
Okay.
Yes. So I have a 12-week and a 20-week coaching program that people can enroll in. And I also have a retreat that I'm doing with Dr. Sylvia Boley. So she and I are hosting a retreat in January in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And that's from January 19th to the 22nd. And at that retreat, we're going to be doing mini workshops in the morning. And then we have fabulous events, later in the day. We have like a yacht. Oh, we're going to have a little party, on the boat.
Yes. Did I see something about a photo shoot and
We're going to be at the Four Seasons for the
okay.
spa event. And yes, we're going to have photo ops, and so it's going to be fantastic. So that's going to be in it's called the Mom's Oasis Retreat. And it's going
And
to
by
be,
the way, I'm going to put all of the links to all of Dr. Di's information, her events. They will all be in the chat.
yes. So it's called the Mom's Oasis Retreat because most of the people we work with, Dr. Sylvia and myself, are moms, but you don't have to be a mom to attend. So if you're not a mom, you can definitely still attend the retreat.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
So now one thing I've noticed, I follow you on social media. I've done some of your 5 day challenges in the past. And one thing that I've admired about you is your commitment. Like it's just it's amazing to me that it might be like midnight and Dr. Dia is like, I gotta close these circles. So tell me how you manage to stay so inspired to do that. I mean, it's admirable because I know me. It's like, oh well, it's 11. Tomorrow's a new day. So what makes you say, okay, I got to close these circles tonight? For those who don't use Fitbits, that's what we're talking about, like a fitness watch or something like that. You close your circle by meeting your goal for the day.
Yes, yes. So, okay, that's a great question because I think when that mindset shift clicks for people and they are able to say, I'm committed to me, I'm in integrity with my word for this particular thing I'm doing for myself, they will be more consistent with doing the work of self care, doing the work of wellness, right? So, what that is now I'm not 100% on it all the time because there are many nights that I'm thinking I want to close those rings and be in completion, and then it doesn't happen. And I don't beat myself up about that either.
Sure.
But I would say maybe 70-80% of the time, if I make the commitment at the beginning of the day, usually it starts in the morning. That's part of my morning ritual. It starts in the morning. I'm going to close my rings today. There's some days I know I'm just not going to close it. Right. And
Because
so
of
I don't
schedule or
even try.
whatever. Yeah.
Right. But if it's a day I've committed to in the morning when I wake up and say, I'm going to move enough to hit these numbers, and these are my goals, these are the calories I want to burn today, this is the workout I want to do, and I have all my goals for the day. I start every day that way. Right. What am I grateful for? I take my little 2 minutes to do that. Then I make my goals for the day. And then I'm committed to it. I'm committed to it. So when I see the clock is ticking, right, I've also given myself a time, like a time by when this should be done.
Okay.
Right. I want it done by 11 p.m. or I want it done before midnight or I want it done, so in my mind, I'm saying those things and it's like all throughout the day, I'm reminding myself that I still got to do this one thing before the day is over.
You keep your goals in front of you. You don't
Yes.
let them get too far behind.
Yes, exactly. And I'm also practicing being in integrity with my word to me.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm in integrity with my word with job, my kids, my mom, like everyone else who I say I'm going to do something, more than likely I'm going to do it.
Right.
But
So
when
we
I
need to
say
stop
to
letting ourselves
myself,
down. Yeah. Stop letting ourselves down.
Right. But
Yeah.
a lot of times we'll tell ourselves we're going to do something for us. And that's the first one we're ready to drop.
Yeah.
Right. It's very easy for us to drop the ball on our own goals, but keep things rolling for the kids. We don't want to disappoint them.
Right.
We don't want to disappoint our partner or our boss, but we can disappoint ourselves. So that's what that is me not wanting to disappoint myself, me not wanting to be out of integrity with me.
Right. It's also about prioritizing yourself.
Yes.
Accepting that you have value as well.
Yes.
It's not just everybody else.
More.
Right. Well, yes, exactly. Right. But understanding that you have this inherent value and also an obligation to take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, if we aren't healthy, we can't take care of our patients, we can't take care of our families, and we can't take care of anybody, right?
Absolutely. So we get to be first, we get to come first, we get to put the things that make us feel happy, make us feel joyful, make us feel alive. And, we get to put that on the schedule, just like we will book our doctor's appointment for the kids or, some other thing that is highly important. So it goes on the schedule. Our own needs need to be on the schedule too.
Right.
What time are we doing the workout? What time are we doing the meal prepping? What time are we going to sleep? Right? I put my sleep on the schedule when I do nights.
Okay.
I literally block off when I do night shifts, I block off the daytime for me to sleep because I don't want people booking appointments during the time that I'm going to be sleeping. So I protect that time.
Right.
Like
you prioritize yourself.
Yes.
And your sleep.
Yes.
Okay. And therefore your health. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Now you mentioned meal prepping. We didn't talk about that very much. Do you prep your meals by the week, by the day?
I do very short preps. I do like 3-day preps.
Okay.
And I don't do them every week. Sometimes I do a meal delivery service that brings the meals to the house. I do either, like a paleo plan or like a high protein or carb conscious plan, different delivery companies that do, home delivery for meals. They have all the different plans. So you can tell them which one you want. But those are the ones typically I'll do either paleo. I like paleo because it has a lot of protein in it, typically lots of veggies and just a little bit of carbs. So it's not giving, and it's only giving you sweet potato typically.
Okay.
So that if you're going to do like a meal plan delivered, paleo is great. Right.
Okay.
Or like a carb conscious one where you're getting more veggies and protein. So I do that sometimes where it gets delivered to me. Other times what I do is I'll prep, like if I do scrambled eggs with veggies in it, I'll make enough for like 3 or 4 servings.
Okay.
Right. I eat the first one and then I put the other ones in the little glass bowls. And then in the morning, I just heat them up. Or on Sunday, I may do like, like a lean fish. I like lean fish and fatty fish. So I kind of mix them up. So like I might do a cod or a trout and then I'll do maybe like a salmon or a sea bass. And I put them in an air fryer. I do it all at once. And then I just put them in bowls.
Okay.
So it really helps to do it in a batch and you're done. You can do even your starch or your veggies, steam them all at one time. And then you just put them in bowls and it's good for like 3 days or
Okay. So
maybe 4.
now I have a question that I don't know what the answer is. I'm curious though. So if you're only going to do one thing, if you're only going to do diet or you're only going to do exercise, which one thing would you say you do?
Meals,
Okay.
hands down.
Okay.
I would do the meals and I would do my macros and I would really pay attention to what I'm eating, right? Because we're eating so many more hours of the day than the exercise. Your exercise is what? It's about 2% of your entire day if you're doing 30 minutes of movement. If you do 30 minutes of movement, it's great to do the movement because you're doing something above and beyond the calorie burn that your body uses for everyday maintenance, right?
True.
As we're moving around, we have our basal metabolic rate where our body's burning calories just to function, just to be alive. But then
Right.
when you do the movement, you're increasing your calorie burn for the day. So you're going above and beyond what your body's doing normally. That then helps with your weight loss because you're burning more calories. However, if you're eating the wrong things, that little 30 minutes is not going to make a difference,
Okay.
right? If you're
Right.
eating the wrong, so making sure the nutrition piece is locked in is more important because you can just move regularly, but eat better foods and lose weight,
Okay.
right?
Now,
Without even
yeah.
adding additional, like an hour of exercise and all that. So the nutrition piece is so huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of thought that's what you'd say, but I wanted to hear you say it. And then
Mhm.
unfortunately, we don't have the time for it today. But I've heard Dr. Dia talk about the specific macros based on your body type. And
Yes.
that was really, really illuminating for me. That was, check
Well,
her
we
out.
can touch on it real quick. So there are 3 major body types, right? You've got a group of people, which is the smallest percentage in the world of people that are ectomorphs, right? They're very lean typically, and they have a robust metabolism. Their metabolism is super, active, and they're able to burn fat and burn calories really quickly. So they're typically lean. Those people are the people actually that can have the most carbs in their meal plan and do okay, right? Because they burn it off so quickly. And they need it because a lot of them actually want to gain weight, not like the rest of
Go
us.
figure, right?
They're like, I want more weight. And we're like, have a seat.
Have some, right? I'll give it away.
Right? So those are ectomorphs. And it's for them, it's a pain point for them. They
Sure.
truly do want to gain weight. So what we may feel like it, we may kind of, trivialize it because that's not our issue, but for them it's valid, right? They
Sure.
really do want to gain weight because they feel like they're just skin and bones. And then you have your mesomorph, which is like, middle of the road person, average build growing up as an adolescent, right? And they have a, sort of intermediate, metabolism. And then you have your endomorph, who are the people, even as adolescents or preteens, struggle with their weight. So depending on who you are on one of those three categories, the amount of carbs you have per day, the amount of protein, the amount of healthy fats is really going to differ. So that's what Dr. Sharita is talking about, is really understanding your body and your metabolism, and then creating a meal plan that suits you, your person, who you are. So you want to know that. And that makes a huge difference, because if you're eating like you are an ectomorph, but you're an endomorph,
that's a problem.
That's a problem. You're not going to see the results you want, because you're having too many carbs, or you're having, too much sugar in your meal plan, or, you're not getting enough protein, and your macros are just off. So you really want to look up, the appropriate macros for who you are. And that will really be helpful.
Wonderful. Well, I know that we are pretty much out of time. I have one final question that I would like to ask. And this is kind of my standard question for all of my guests. So if you had one thing that you would say to help professional women up-level their fitness journey, what would that one thing be, if that's all they could do?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. If all they could do was one thing, I would say actually make a list of your top 3 goals for the next 3 to 6 months. Make that list. And that's what I do when I meet people who want to work with me. I ask them for their want list. What do you want, Sharita? What do you want? Okay. And you got to think about it. If money wasn't an issue, time wasn't an issue, I could make this happen for me, and I can get the body I want, the lifestyle I want. What would it look like? Okay. Put those top 3 things down, and then your job is going to see, who do I need to work with to achieve goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. How will I feel when these 3 things are accomplished?
Right.
Absolutely. So make that list of your top 3 wants.
Okay. All right. You heard it from Dr. Di. Yes. Make the list of your top 3 wants. Yeah. So thank you so much for spending this time with us this evening. It has been wonderful. I can't wait for a weekend for me, because I know that we're going to get so much more done, because we're going to have so much more time with you. You're going to just keep dropping all of those nuggets, and we're going to walk away with our plan, our fitness plan. And that's really, a weekend for me, that's really what it's about. It's about making our plan to up-level our lives, to take things to the next level on multiple fronts. So not just our fitness, our finances, our mental health, and mindfulness, meditation, all of those things. And then Dr. Tawana is in the chat. She's another one of our speakers. She's saying she can't wait. She's thanking Dr. Di for being with us. Endomorph is her tribe, fellow endomorph over here.
Listen, it's good to know who you are, right?
Exactly, because then you can begin to tailor your diet for who you are. So guys, certainly consider joining us for a weekend for me, March 24th through 26th in Cambridge, Maryland. The website www.aweekendforme.com. As you can see, these are some of the things we're going to be talking about. It is going to be a transformative time for everyone. So Dr. Di, thanks again. Tell us again where we can reach you. I did put your information in the comments. I will make sure that it all transferred over, but tell us again how we can find you, how we can work with you.
Okay, so the easiest way would be my public fitness page is Dr. Di Fitness. So DRDIFITNESS. And then my Instagram is on the handle right there I don't know if you can see it on the screen, is Dr. Di Fit Life. Yes. That's Dr. Di Fit Life. And that's my Instagram handle. So you got that. And then the Facebook page is Dr. Di Fitness, DRDIFITNESS.
Wonderful. Thanks again. It's been a really, really, really wonderful treat. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week on Level Up Live. Take care. And
Yes.
Happy New Year in advance. Merry Christmas in the
Yes,
past. Happy New Year
Happy New
in
Year,
advance.
guys, and thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. It's been my pleasure.
Yes.